Welcome to the business webinar, The Role of Design in the Circular Economy of Plastics, brought to you by ReThink Plastic Vietnam. I am Raffi van den Burgt.
And I'm Nika Salvetti from this magnificent studio in Ho Chi Minh City at the International School of Ho Chi Minh City.
Today, we focus on the role businesses can play, because we could all be part of the solution to the plastic waste pollution. During our kickoff, we learned that a circular economy breaks free from the traditional take, make, dispose to reduce, reuse, recycle. But how can you implement a circular economy in your business? That starts with design. Design of your products and of your processes. In the next 90 minutes, we will give you all inspiration and practical examples for you to take that first step. Also, you can get your questions answered in the chat. Let's welcome our first honorable speaker, Dr. Karel Richter, Consul-General of the Kingdom of the Netherlands.
A few days ago, when we kicked off the Plastic Awareness Month organized by ReThink Plastic, we looked at the impact and challenges the COVID brought when it comes to plastic. Today, ReThink Plastic is organizing a business webinar. This webinar is about the role of design in addressing plastic challenges. It brings together all stakeholders, government, private sector, and research institutes. We're going to focus on SDG number 12, which is sustainable production and sustainable consumption. I hope that the participants of the webinar will contribute to creative ideas and innovative solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor to stand here again at the seminar organized by ReThink Plastic. It's actually the third one. Last year, we were standing here we were here together in this same auditorium, and more than 100 people were participating to a very successful ReThink Plastic event. This year is obviously a little bit different. So now it is organized online, and people had to be creative and find innovative solutions to make this seminar work again. So I think it's very appropriate that the focus of this seminar is on the role of design when it comes to all the challenges related to plastic waste. In the Netherlands, we try to promote design as much as possible as a driver to a solution for the plastic waste. We have committed as a government of the Netherlands to become a circular economy by 100% in the year 2050. So that sets the bar quite high. We are trying to see how we can boost all those actors that are in design in order to contribute to meeting that challenge. We do that through, for instance, organizing famous gatherings and awards where people can show their products and come up with new solutions in order to contribute to recycling plastic. As such, there is the Plastic Recycle Awards, which is held in Amsterdam, and a couple of examples of winners of last year, 2019, were, for instance, Volvo cars, who won a prize for making a demo car completely made, the exterior completely made of recycled plastic. But also Multiport, which was creating building materials with recycled plastic, was one of the winners. Cedofoline, another company in the Netherlands, came up with very innovative household machinery made of recycled plastic. And in the Netherlands, you can often also see that we started building roads with recycled plastic. All innovative new ideas, I would say. What we also try to do is that we try to invest as much as possible in institutes that train people. A good example, for instance, is the Center for Innovation called Brainport Eindhoven, but also universities like the University of Delft and the University of Enschede that have design faculties working very closely on circular economy. But also art academies like the Art Academy of Design in Amsterdam and The Hague, but also in Eindhoven are quite famous. In order to make these new ideas viable, the new designs, it's important to create a right environment in order to make sure that these new ideas that come on the market are feasible. So as a government, as a society, you also have the responsibility to create incentives. These can, for instance, be fiscal incentives, but also other types of incentives. Sometimes subsidies, sometimes awareness in creating a market for a product. It's very important that together as a society, with the government and the private sector, we try to make all these innovations a feasible business case so it becomes viable. Today, we stand here for the third time together with ReThink Plastic in this seminar, and we are bringing people together. It is important, and I think it's something that we really have to commend ReThink Plastic for, is getting all stakeholders together and give an impulse, a positive push, in this case, to the role of design and innovation to solve the challenges of single-use plastic. I wish everybody a lot of success today, and I'm sure, like previous years, you will come with really great results and successes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Karel Richter. Thank you again for coming. Now I welcome on stage Ms. Tan, Vice Head of the Ho Chi Minh City Environmental Protection Agency, part of DONRE, the Department of Natural Resources and Environment. Welcome, Ms. Tan.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Good afternoon. It is a great pleasure to be here today at this event. This is not my first time participating in ReThink Plastic activities, and we do appreciate your contribution to plastic, to combat the plastic issues in Ho Chi Minh City as well as in Vietnam. I will not talk again about the plastic issues. We have all know it clearly. As you know, together with other countries, Vietnam government is working on building policies for promoting circular economy for plastic. And new law of environmental protection have been submitted and soon to be approved. Last month, in August 2020, the Prime Minister issued directive on managing, recycling, and minimizing plastic waste. In Ho Chi Minh City, we committed to mitigating plastic problems. Actually, we did our very first studies about plastic bags in 2008. Since then, we have been making efforts to cope the problems. We have planned to combat the plastic issues with concrete targets. On one hand, we focus on awareness raising programs aiming at not only the local people, the consumers, but also the retail sectors like supermarkets, especially traditional markets, bookstores, convenience stores, and also the producers. We do training for trainers. We have guidelines to support schools, local communities, and retailers. According to the plan, all of the government offices and organizations in Ho Chi Minh City are required to restrict the single-use plastics since August last year. And from this year, the Department of Finance will not allocate budget for buying single-use plastic products. On the other hand, we improve our solid waste management system to ensure that 100% of solid waste generated is collected and properly treated. Our target is to 2025, 80% of solid waste is separated at source, and reduce the waste to landfill to 20%. The rest are to be recycled and incinerated with energy recovery. Last but not least, we are also working hard to stop littering in Ho Chi Minh City. Since last year, together we have cleaned up nearly 800 fly tippings or illegal dumping sites, and 142 sites have been transformed into small green space and playgrounds. Nearly 40,000 trash bins have been installed in public space streets, and we also installed more than 30,000 monitoring cameras to monitoring the littering. And the authorities also strictly enforce the regulations on illegal dumping and littering. More than 10,000 violations have been fined. We can say that now public awareness has been greatly improved. We have taken actions, but there's still a lot of actions needed to stop the linear economy of take, make, dispose, and shifting to circular economy. The government alone cannot solve the problem. We all need to take actions, and we need bolder actions, and we need to do it fast. I do hope that the Vietnam central government will soon have concrete policies to effectively minimize plastic issues, minimize the plastic use, promote recycling activities in Vietnam. I also expect that private sectors, especially global companies, will actively take actions in terms of product designing, have incentives to encourage customers to reduce plastic use, innovation of recycling technology, investment in recycling activity, setting up the collecting system for recycling. So together we can close the plastic loop. Changing a habit is not easy, and changing how our economy have been doing is not easy at all. But I do believe that together we can make it. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us again this year. And thank you for sharing such an inspirational and encouraging speech. Design is an essential part of the circular economy model, but it is not enough if it's not tied to the achievement of the SDG 12, responsible production and consumption. According to experts, if the global population reaches 9.6 billion by 2050, we would need almost 3 planets to provide the natural resources that are needed to sustain our current lifestyles. Therefore, we need to envision a new way of production and consumption, a way which allows us to do more and better with less, but also promoting new lifestyles. This is why I invite all of you to watch the video of Ellen MacArthur Foundation, which would tell us and explain how, beginning with design, we can pave the road to find concrete solution to the plastic waste pollution. Thank you.
When you throw something away, where is away? There is no away. We live in a world with finite materials. Products are made cheaper and cheaper, disposable and more disposable on a daily basis. You take raw materials, you process the raw material, you make a product, Then the consumer uses it for a certain amount of time, and then it's thrown in the bin.
Plastic bottles and ketchup sachets, you use them for probably a few minutes. And then the packaging is on the environment for several years.
Waste. Sheer, needless, unforgivable waste.
What we are offering is a new point of view of how to think about packaging and how to challenge the standards that currently plastic packaging is giving us. We are trying to match the shelf life of the product that is inside of the packaging with the shelf life of the packaging itself. Ojo, it's a membrane made of seaweed that is biodegradable and as well edible. You just consume it and then the packaging won't be there for more than a few weeks.
Carpet only get 3% recycling rate these days in Europe, a little over 10% in some states in the US, but that's really where we are today and it's not enough. What we try to do is design it from the start in a way that it can come back in the same product.
Once the consumer has finished using them, they can be taken apart and then put in the respective loops and processed and close the loop again and again.
We are looking at mattresses, carpets, furniture that is today made out of particle board, MDF or similar materials. Typically glues are made to make two different layers bond for as long as possible, the strongest possible. And after use you can never separate the two. It's a very sad story and it all ends up in landfill or it's burned. It took a bit of material science and smart thinking of my colleagues really to design a glue that could decouple after use very easily with a frequency signal. The mattress has a lot of material in it, so the residual value is pretty big if it's designed well. And of course for the manufacturers, it makes sense to know when I change my mattress or my carpet because then I'm in the market for a new product. And if you have mattresses for a hotel chain, and why not have a maintenance contract for those hotels? To make sure that you have a constant quality. With our adhesive you can change different layers at different moments in time because it's not always glued together for eternity.
So we are working now on toiletries, putting together several trials with hotels where we will be able to deliver small volumes of shampoos and gels.
There's a lot of innovations out there that has not yet taken mainstream. And what is really important is to make sure that those innovations that can save us are taken and scaled up. This is, to me, the only way for us to fight climate change and to fight pollution, to fight waste.
Hi, I'm Madeleine van Hasselt. And I'm Karen Smith from ReThink Plastic Vietnam. And we are super happy to be here, live from you, from the Mövenpick Hotel in Hanoi. This is our pop-up studio. And from here, we can screen for you great guests from companies and organizations here in Hanoi. And let's go to our first honored keynote speaker, Mr. Nguyen Quang Vinh, VCCI Secretary General and BBCSD Executive Vice President and Secretary General, live from his office.
Firstly, I would like to thank you very much for inviting me to speak at this very important event on behalf of Vietnam Business Council for Sustainable Development and Vietnam Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, in recent years, facing the challenges of climate change as well as depletion of natural resources, the economies of the world has witnessed a shift from a linear economic model to a circular economic model. We call CE, where waste, instead of being thrown away, wasted and polluting the environment, will be revived as different sources and once again engaged into production and use. The implementation of the CE model will have reduced the risk of scarce resources in the future, so the environmental problem as well as open up growth opportunity. At a single company level, implementing cyclic solutions that include the rethinking products and services based on principles related to durability, resilience, reuse, repair, replace, upgrade, refurbish, and reduce the use of material. By applying the CE principle, companies have a new view of relationship between market, customer, and natural resources. Can reduce waste, increase resource efficiency, and separate growth away from natural resources consumption. To introduce the CE model in the Vietnamese business community, since the year 2016, the Vietnam Business Council for Sustainable Development, VBCSD, VCCI, has cooperated with the Vietnam Environment Administration, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, and VBCSD member to organize seminars in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City with the theme Circular Economy, a new approach to improve competitiveness, reduce waste to the environment. From 2017 up to now, VBCSD VCCI has implemented a series of programs and action to support the deployment of CE, especially CE in the plastic industry, because this is a very hot topic, not only in Vietnam, but also at the global level. So activity includes, first,
do I wait for a cue from
Vietnam Secondary Material Marketplace Initiative. The initiative has completed in 2019 startup phase with potential assessment, building a database of the plastic and paper industries and supporting engineering system. VBCSD is actively working with stakeholders so that the expansion phase of the initiative can be continued. Second, Zero Waste to Nature initiative. The initiative focuses on source separation, piloting in some area in Tân Phú district in Ho Chi Minh City. The pilot application has highly appreciated by the City People's Committee and suggested replicating this model to other areas in the city. Third, VBCSD and VCCI actively participate of experts to formulate legal policy related to circular economy in general and plastic waste in particular in Vietnam, especially in the law on environmental protection amended in the year 2020. Fourth, besides, VBCSD has been connecting with domestic and foreign stakeholders in compiling and translating publication, organized conferences, seminars related to the topic plastic waste. With our experience in supporting enterprise to implement circular economy, we appreciate that ReThink Plastic Vietnam has activity to raise awareness of the community and enterprise about circular economy in plastic film toward a cyclic economic model in the plastic film suitable to Vietnam's social, political, and economic condition. I hope that from this seminar there will be clearer sharing about this aspect, from the theory to the reality of the plastic waste problem. I wish the seminar a great success and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Nguyen Quang Vinh, for these wonderful insights in Vietnam. Now it's time to draw your attention to an inspirational and symbolic institution, the United Nations, here represented by the agencies of UNESCO and UNDP. I introduce to you Mr. Michael Croft, UNESCO representative to Vietnam, and Ms. Sitara Siet, UNDP Deputy Resident Representative in Vietnam.
Thanks very much. Good afternoon to everyone here in Hanoi, with you, those of you in Ho Chi Minh City and joining from elsewhere. There's so many things that I could say, but we have to be focused. First of all, I just really want to acknowledge what a great event that this is. For us, this represents what we would call a partnership for progress. which is the strategy, UNESCO's own country strategy in Vietnam, where we seek to build coalitions of the concerned, if I can put it that way, around key development issues, such as plastic waste, in the areas of our competency, so in education, in science, and in culture. So for us, this is exactly the sort of thing that we want to do ourselves and that we want to be involved with and attached to. So we're really happy to be here today to discuss with you. How does this intersect with UNESCO's work in Vietnam? I can say a couple of things. First of all, we've just finished a pilot called Manufacturing Creativity. And this is something where we put creative artists in factories in Ho Chi Minh City. Sometimes factories are not thought of as the most creative places in the world. But the whole point of this was to have the artists go in and look in to see how they might be able to repurpose the waste that the factories were producing. So we're looking at the results of this. We hope that we can scale it up. One of the interesting things that we found already, and this was a bit of a plus for business, was that the artists were also able to comment on the production line itself to make production a little bit more creative, and in terms of the factory space, to suggest some changes that were more, how should I put this, brought out a bigger spirit of creativity and innovation in terms of on the factory floor. So something that benefited the production line and also the workers themselves. Second of all, alongside of UNDP on World Oceans Day on the 8th of June, we launched Youth Innovate for Ocean. And so this is a program where we partner with students in universities in Ho Chi Minh City, in Da Nang, and in Hanoi, and we team them up with young professionals in business. And so the idea is that we will work with young people who are already engaged in the area of plastic waste and provide them with access to business, provide them with access to new training, practical information, so that young people are able to scale up what they're doing with regard to plastic waste and also be able to approach interventions perhaps in a more sophisticated way. So it's a lot about empowering that energy among the youth that's already out there. Finally, the last thing that I'd like to say relates very much to the theme of today, the design theme. Last year, UNESCO designated Hanoi as a creative city of design. It was the first Vietnamese city to enter into the UNESCO's Creative City Network. Some of you may be saying, Hanoi is a city of design? Well, you're kind of right. Hanoi is not maybe an obvious candidate for design, but when the city approached UNESCO, they said, look, we know that this is not our strength, but it once was. This rich cultural heritage that the city has demonstrates a legacy of creativity and innovation, and we want to go back to that. So the idea of the creative city is to use the nomination as both a narrative for the city's development path and also a platform for collaboration, for building partnerships for progress. One of the three pillars of the creative city, along with urban regeneration and cultural dynamics, is creative education. And so that would be the last thing that I would like to talk about, because when we look at design, we have to think about the fact that everything that we use has been designed. And so it's very important to integrate in education system itself this notion of circular economy, this notion of sustainability in design. And so one of the things which we'll be doing, working with partners in the future, is to work with universities and also the schools in Hanoi and elsewhere in the country to see how we can integrate this notion of education for sustainable development, how students can be taught to think about design in terms of a circular way, so that when they're approaching business with new ideas, or if they're approaching business in terms of potential recruiters, already in their heads, they have this sort of thought about sustainability and circular economy. So I will leave it at that. Thank you very much.
Dear colleagues in Ho Chi Minh City, here in Hanoi, and all those who have joined us online, good afternoon. Thank you, Michael. Indeed, investing in training in next generation engineers, designers, architects will be the fundamental for promoting circular economy. Design is the first principle of circular economy and will help us move away from the pollutive and linear models of production, consumption, and disposal. Since plastic pollution is a complex fast-changing and multifaceted issue, it cannot be addressed with single-point solutions. What do I mean by this? Let me share with you some lessons that we have learned from our journey in Vietnam. Our circular economy portfolio is based on a system design approach, meaning that we are targeting both upstream and downstream and a number of points in between the two levels to address both policymakers but also at the grassroots levels. Our stakeholders are policymakers like the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ministry of Planning and Investment, and Vietnam Business Council for Sustainable Development. We also work with grassroots levels, partners like women unions, informal waste workers, and youth. For instance, we assisted the design and adoption of Vietnam's first national action plan on management of marine plastic litter. We integrated circular economy principles into the revised law in environmental protection. And we advised on the inclusion of circular economy into the upcoming socio-economic development plan and strategy of Vietnam. We actively engage with private sector to promote greater environmental protection. For instance, we provide grants to promote environmentally sustainable businesses. The Climate Business Index that we launched with the Ministry of Planning and Investment provides a platform for businesses to register their commitment towards environmental protection. We're actively pursuing partnerships to help micro and small medium enterprises develop bankable projects for green production, gain access to financing and risk insurance. Finally, we know that without innovation and creativity, the national waste management system cannot go far. Therefore, in Da Nang, we're testing approaches that promote integrated waste management models, behavioral change, and the need for greater management models. We are also working with those who are working in the periphery, like the informal waste workers, so that they can be better partners in the larger value chain for plastics. We're looking beyond Vietnam and have launched an ASEAN-wide challenge to source and identify creative solutions for plastic waste and scaling up. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a tremendous challenge, and there is a huge ground to cover. No single partner or country can address this alone. So it is fundamentally important that we all from different corners and at all different levels, from businesses, consumer good companies, non-government organizations, academia, development partners, local governments, and the people of Vietnam jointly drive the shift. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Croft and Ms. Sitara Sayed. I'm amazed that we're actually in the capital of design at the moment in Hanoi. And I really loved your call for a global partnership, Ms. Sitara. And lovely that you will be here for our panel discussion. In our studio, we actually have another guest, Mr. Pham Hong Hai, who is joining us today as representative of the BBCSD and the VCCI. Mr. Hai, would you mind introducing yourself?
Thank you for inviting me here. My name is Hai. I'm come from the BBCSD, Vietnam Business Council for Sustainable Development of the VCCI. As you might know already, BBCSD is a business-led organization. It has been established for 10 years already, and we are the business-led organization, and we are the bridging between the government and also with the business. And it is our core activity. I think it is maybe Mr. Vinh already mentioned, but I could like to repeat again. We are focusing on the 4 things. This is sustainable development awareness raising, training, research, and partnership development and international relationship. This is our core activity. And since established, we do a lot of activity, but there are 2 remarkable activities I could like to emphasize here. One is we annually conducted sustainable development conference in Vietnam, And also we do is the benchmarking for sustainable business in Vietnam as well. This is my organization I come from.
Thank you so much. Well, I actually have a general question that we would like to discuss together. In your opinion, what is the role that businesses have to promote the circular economy here in Vietnam? Who would like to take on the challenge?
I can open that one if you want.
Yes, please.
I think from our perspective, and to turn the question around a little bit, it's about how that we're able to respond of the interest in business in this area, and also in sustainable development. And I think one of the big surprises for us, or at least for me coming to this country, has been actually the interest and engagement and active curiosity of the business sector here in terms of sustainable development. And I think that actually, to be honest with you, I think it's that perhaps we're on the back foot a little bit. We've had to sort of adjust ourselves to keep up this level of engagement. And from UNESCO's perspective, there's no way that we would have, if I can put it this, the capacity or the time or the resources to engage with business in terms of partnerships between UNESCO and the business around the different country. So what we think is more strategic for us is to try to help create this more enabling environment, if I can put it this way. And you would have heard me refer to the Creative City designation, and that's really what that's about. So where we see our role is to facilitate the engagement with business, with the government, who are our natural partners, but also with local communities, and also with international partners, other development partners, friendly embassies. So for me, this question is really, it's a key question, but I look at it in terms of the expectations of business, especially for the United Nations, and us having to, how do I say, adjust and to leverage this interest that we feel on behalf of the business sector in Vietnam. For me, I know personally that's been an eye-opener, but it's also been very interesting and certainly very encouraging, because this is a key issue for business, as I think the business starts in many ways to sort of understand that sustainability is for the future and is what they need to remain competitive among themselves.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Michael, for leading us so well into this question. I fully confirm from our experience of working with private sector, there is a lot of enthusiasm. There's a lot of willingness to apply new and better ways of production and consumption, promote better consumption. But I can add another element to it. Through our work with consumers and with citizens, we've realized that Vietnam in Southeast Asia is one of the most aware citizens who, there was a survey in as long ago as 2015 where 86% of Vietnamese surveyed are willing to pay more for products and businesses that are providing more back to the community and are environmentally friendly. With the adoption of SDGs, this is a key message for private sector, for businesses, that it's not about the act of charity. It's about the ask from consumers, citizens who want to be able to contribute back by being part of the supply chain. And I think that's a key message for all of us to keep in mind. There's a lot of other areas where the private sector businesses can provide huge shift and transform the whole cycle of the way items are produced, consumed, reused, and recycled. We see a clear opportunity in the revision, in the adoption of the policy that's under formulation on extended producer responsibility, and we believe that if private businesses can sort, recycle, and collect the waste, it will be a huge relief for municipalities, for communities at large in Vietnam. Secondly, we believe there's a lot of scope for use of recycled plastics in the production chains by private sector. And if there is more demand for recycled material. This we hope will, and by design, it could contribute to the lower value chain, lower levels of the value chain, and benefit communities from taking part in a business model that's more sustainable and that's more green. We also think that the private sector businesses, especially the larger ones who are present here today with us, they have a huge role that they can play by promoting innovation, setting funds aside for innovative solutions, and promoting startups and businesses that are coming up with new solutions. Finally, I want to mention that we're launching this Ending Plastic Pollution in ASEAN as part of the Vietnam's critical role as ASEAN chair, where we're trying to source innovative solutions from across countries in ASEAN. This year, we've launched the call for ideas in Vietnam and in Thailand, and we've received over 180 amazing proposals from grassroots organizations, innovators, civil society groups who are offering new ways for better production and more sustainable production. And we would invite our business partners to be there to mentor. Vietnam is the country for startups, for innovation, as Michael said. And I think here we have a fertile ground amongst citizens, amongst groups and private sector who there's so much to nurture, there's so much to explore and support, so we can create a better ecosystem for circular economy. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, and thank you. Yeah, I think this is for me, I found quite very interesting about the topic of the circular economy of the plastic, and especially give all of us know about the true story about the plastic. There are 4 key things I could like to share with you about the true story about the plastic. One is the plastic is the new material. It innovated in 1940, and since that time up to now, it applied for everything of our life. That's why it's one very key thing I could like to emphasize here. Is the plastic is a part of our life. Plastic is not our enemy. Yeah. And the second thing I could like to share with you here is not all plastic can be recyclable. There are some plastic can be recyclable, and there are some cannot be recyclable. Even some plastic, they mark on the label that it can recyclable, but in fact it cannot be recyclable because of very difficult and very complicated of the material of the plastic, so that not everything can be recyclable is the second thing. The third thing I could like, and for the recyclable rate now, all around the world, I think it's less than 15%.
Yeah, that's not much. No.
Yeah, and the third thing I could like to share with you here is the recyclable requires clean and very, how can I say, mono or just material. But in fact, for all the plastic thing and plastic applicable now here in the life, it contains a lot of things. That's why even we do very, very well sequestration at source, but in fact it cannot be recyclable and it sent to the landfill. Especially I think now in the US and in EU and even in Vietnam, yeah, a lot of waste management company, they send all things to the landfill. That's the first thing. And the fourth thing I think is just, I could like to say that Vietnam is not first country in the world for the plastic pollution to the ocean, because we know this population of Vietnam is 94 million, and Vietnam is very much based on the exported country, export goods to the EU and US, and also to the Japan. And you know that for all the export thing, we have to package, and package using plastic. It's a true story. It's after the 2018, China they have very strictly the environment protection law. They ban all the imported plastic waste, and also the Vietnam as well, and Malaysia and Indo as well. So that is, I don't know why many people said that Vietnam is the fourth country in the world for the plastic pollution in the ocean. The fifth thing I think is for the nanoplastic. Nanoplastic is in all the cleaning product. And for the cleaning product, and you know, this is nanoplastic, when you use that, it's nanoplastic will contain all the dust and all the dangerous things, and it leaks into the ocean and leaks into the environment. 5 key things. And I think this is for the role of business. I think there are something I could like to share with you. This is from the developed country. I think you need to build the recyclable infrastructure to stop all the export plastic waste to the Asian country or to the developing country, because you know, even in your country, you are developed country, you cannot do it. Why you send it to the developing country? That is not good. The first thing. This is the circular economy. You have to understand this is right concept of circular economy. Circular economy, it means that reduce, reuse, repair, fix, and at the end of the day, we can say recycle. And one product is produced by the bio process and also the technical process. And if you use a plastic, you cannot apply the bio process for the disposing. You have to use a technical process. It means that from the design, you have to design for recycling. You have to design for the extension, and you have to design for the repairing. And I think this is the first thing. I think the competition between the business and business in the future price based on the legislation and recyclable material. And I think in order to stop plastic pollution, we should join hands all around the world. And also we have to join effort from the chemical, from the innovation, from the business. Not only Vietnam, not only single country. And I think the design is very important for the circular economy applying for the plastic. Yeah. And if you want to break in plastic way, you have to you do not fight the plastic, because plastic is our life, part of our life.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Hai. I think you're touching upon a very interesting topic here, that plastic is part of our lives, and that we don't need to stop the plastic, but as Ms. Sitara said, it's about the pollution. And the pollution doesn't only come from Vietnam. I completely agree with you, Mr. Hai. The only reason Vietnam is on that list is that other countries send it off, also here. And that comes back to you, of course, Mr. Michael, that we have to enable and make sure that this circular economy is not just here in Vietnam, but that it becomes circular on a global level, and that it's going to be joining hands, not just here, but in the whole Southeast Asia region and even globally.
Yeah.
Anything somebody would like to add? I think we touched a lot of, we touched it almost all. I think to give the key here, businesses are key in creating the circular economy and designing out this pollution that we're talking about. And actually, you mentioned some research data, Ms. Sitara, and there's a recent investigation by Kantar, a marketing researcher, that completely agrees with that. Vietnamese consumers state, we feel the manufacturer should take action on this. And then the consumer, really nice ad, is willing to buy the products. So that comes back to the question, what can you do as a business? What kind of action can you take? With our Plastic Awareness Month 2020, our partner did just, I'm very sorry, our partners did just that. Our Ho Chi Minh City is going to tell you all about it.
Back in Ho Chi Minh City. We are now almost at the end of the Plastic Awareness Month. And this month we brought together 14 companies, 3 schools and 4 universities, all around this topic. We were ranging from the most individual level of doing a plastic diet challenge to a nationwide cleanup campaign. The month has been awesome. Let's have a look back to the Plastic Awareness Month 2020.
There are many ways we can take care of our earth. Together we can finally show her how much she is worth. But there is only one place that all of us call home. It is this pale blue dot of ours that we freely roam. We can take our cans and sort them into a different bin and buy things with less packaging to score another win. Simple things like less paper waste, stop pollution's haste, allowing all to view Mother Nature's perfect taste.
Wash out jars, cans and other recyclables so they're clean.
Yeah.
That's a step as vital as using less polystyrene.
Yeah.
Reusable bags and food containers make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It takes just a little thought to make a really big difference.
Oh yeah. Let's come together and show Mother Earth how much she's worth. Think of future generations.
Future, y'all.
Not just our Earth. Let's ensure the world survives.
Come on, we gotta survive,
And
y'all.
reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Responsible production and consumption. That is SDG 12. By the way, don't forget to raise your questions about this topic in the chat. Let's now learn from a renowned company that has distinguished itself worldwide in designing trendy, practical and sustainable products in the world, IKEA. Welcome, Ms. Amanda Fitzpatrick, Business Communication Partner, Southeast Asia and South Asia. Welcome.
Thank you, Rafi. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello to my colleagues in Hanoi and to those who are joining us here in Ho Chi Minh City today. I'm Amanda, and I'm very proud and privileged to be representing IKEA today to talk a little bit about our approach to circular production and circular design. So the founder of IKEA, Ingvar Kamprad, started IKEA as a small mail order company in 1943. And from the very beginning, he thought that waste was a mortal sin. So working with our resources in a smart and efficient way, you could say, has been in the DNA of our company for more than 75 years already. At IKEA, we want to keep the value of whatever we put to market for as long as possible. And we want to take care of that material and the product at the product's end of life. And the simple reason why we're working with circularity at IKEA is that it's both the right thing to do and because IKEA customers want it. Circularity will serve the many people with thin wallets. And if you don't have circularity built into your business model today, the fact of the matter is that you're going to be expensive. Virgin raw materials from the 1900s model will not be available like they used to be. So if we are to reach 3 billion people, we need to work carefully with our resources and what we have and work within the limits of the planet. The 3 goals for IKEA overall are to make IKEA affordable for the people who cannot afford IKEA today, to reach and interact with the many people around the world where they are, and also to create a positive impact for people, the planet, and society. And we really believe that circularity is a way that we can achieve all 3 of these ambitions at the same time. So we have put the theories of circular economy that exist around the world today, and we've put them through the lens of our business and our value chain to really describe well what it means for us.
We live in a linear world where raw materials are turned into products that are eventually turned into waste. What a waste. What if there was a better way? We've talked to people all around the world, and we know for a fact that nobody really wants to be wasteful. But the world today is not set up to make a new, resourceful way of living easy. IKEA wants to change that. What if new things could be made from old things? Then products wouldn't just be products. They would be resources, material banks for the future. But before we can even think about doing that, so much more needs to happen. Like designing products so that we can easily repair, renew, or upgrade them. And making sure it's easy for every single piece to be repurposed or remanufactured, and then, at the very end, recycled. Things would last so much longer, and we could all play our part by reselling or passing them on, moving us closer to a world without waste. We need a new mindset, a new way to make products live multiple lives. At IKEA, we're committed to transforming our complete business to become circular so that we can make it easier for people to live better and more sustainable lives with the products we make, until one day they are needed somewhere else by someone else as something else entirely.
So whatever we do at IKEA and whatever decisions we make throughout the design, manufacturing, distribution, and selling of our products, it's to prolong the life of the products for as long as possible. It's to eliminate as much waste as possible and to make sure that we are using products as material banks for the future. So, of course, we want to move from a linear business that we developed over the last 75 years, and by 2030, we want to be a circular business. So you can consider the size of our product range today. We have about 10,000 products in the IKEA range. We have a little bit of work to do ahead of us if we're going to meet our goals by 2030. So this is how we are looking at moving towards a circular IKEA. We've split it into recycling, remanufacturing, refurbishment, and reuse. If reuse is not possible, we will build a business around repair and refurbishment. For example, if the product is broken, but we can still use parts of it, it's possible that these parts could go into our supply chain as components to make new products. And you could imagine that this will also lower the cost of the product and also make materials more readily available for us. When reuse, repair, or remanufacturing isn't possible, we see that the material can be recycled and be reused as much as possible. And maybe it could also be used in other companies' products. So whatever we put onto the market, we want to create solutions and products that can be used and reused as much as possible. So there are many ways that we will work towards these goals, and one of the ways is the IKEA approach to circular design. And we have 4 main goals within this. enabling our customers to acquire, care for, pass on products in circular ways, to be 100% circular in our product range by 2030. By 2030, we would like all materials used to be renewable or recycled, and we want to take the lead and join forces with others. So how do we do that on a practical way? At IKEA, we design all products based on democratic design, and you can see the 5 parts of democratic design here. They are sustainability, form, low price, quality, and function. And the product developers and designers at IKEA use this model as the base for all things that they design at IKEA. And we see that the circular design approach fits quite well into democratic design. So we have 8 circular design principles which have been introduced that we hope inspire our product designers and developers. 2 of the principles apply to all products: design for renewable and recyclable materials and design for standardization. For the other principles, they're dependent on what kind of circular journey the product will have to go through in its lifetime. So in this journey to design circular products, the product designers and developers have learned a lot already. This is the 3rd version of the circular design principles that we're working with already now. In the first version of the design guide, for example, our goals were quite high level and a little bit hard to measure our progress and our success. So now that we've launched the 3rd guide, the principles have changed. As an example, we used to have a principle for assembly and disassembly, but now that has been changed to design for disassembly and reassembly, because we now understand that when our customers are working with our products, sometimes they are moving to a new house, and that product needs to be disassembled, moved to their new house, and then reassembled where they are. Or they would like to change the function of the product or add on to it over the course of its lifetime. So in order to enable our customers to take part in this journey, we've changed the principle to design for repair and reassembly. Today, we are already using 60% renewable and 10% recycled materials. We have mapped out where we are, where we need to go, and we also know where we can move with speed. But we also know there's no point to us being a circular business if we are not in the journey with others working with us towards the same goals. So it requires us to work together with other businesses and other partners so that we have the right prerequisites in place to move forward. We have a partnership with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation that was announced earlier this year, and we are also a member of the Next Wave initiative, working on reducing ocean-bound plastics in our oceans. But we know that we can work with others as well. There are commonalities around materials. We know we can learn more in different countries how our products are recycled, and we can create better partnerships with waste management firms as an example. If we know we can develop products that are better for recycling, then we will do that. But first, we need to know how. We are excited about the future, really excited about what the future holds for Vietnam and our supply chain in Vietnam, and how we can do our part to help create a positive impact for people, society, and the planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Miss Amanda. What an inspiring story about how circular IKEA, the road to circular IKEA by 2030, and the story on responsible production. Now we're going back to Hanoi to hear more about responsible consumption.
If there is one industry where the customer is treated as a king, it is the hospitality industry. How can you lay out a red carpet for your guests and promote responsible consumption at the same time? Let's hear it from ACCOR Hotels Northern Vietnam. I'm very pleased to introduce to you Mr. Nicholas Josie, General Manager of Mövenpick Hotel, Hanoi.
Good afternoon to all of you, and thank you very much for having me on the panel this afternoon. Throughout of today's presentation, I would like to introduce you to ACCOR's CSR platform called Planet 21, as well bring you a bit closer why we believe such responsibilities are necessary from our corporate environment throughout to every individual and single household. Since ACCOR's existence, with the first hotel opening 50 years ago, ACCOR strongly believed that acting for good was a necessary action to be integrated in its entire structure and future development, progressed through a very simple form of commitment to our society. This is and has been handled throughout of the corporate ladder, down to each and the single and individual hotel, our guests, partners and social surrounds. ACCOR strongly believes ethical, social and environmental engagement will contribute to leave the world a better place, while delivering more value to our stakeholders. We strive to make positive impact both locally and globally to ensure hospitality benefits not only the few, but all. We act for integrity. We go beyond legislation baselines to apply our ethical values in the country we operate in. We act for sustainability. We create holistically sustainable experiences from sourcing to consumption and from the inside out. Our offers boost low environmental footprints, emphasize well-being, promote healthy local food, and encourage active participation from our guests and our employees. We also act for our communities. Excuse me about this, that was unforeseen. We ensure the benefits of our activities are shared with our communities we're in. We act to empower those disadvantaged, protect ecosystems, and support local initiatives. So, Planet 21, acting here, is the corporate social responsibility, CSR program of ACCOR, implemented in all hotels. All brands across the world are within of their responsibilities. It set a series of objectives every year to tackle ACCOR's main issues and drive innovation. The program is structured around 6 pillars. Our 4 main pillars, stakeholders, together with employees, clients and partners, including 2 priority fields, food and beverage and buildings. Within of these 6 pillars, everyone's goal is to progress opportunities and change to act for a positive hospitality.
We are far more than a worldwide leader present in over 90 countries. We're the equivalent of a city that hosts 500,000 clients each day, providing them with water, energy, and food. Imagine that we give the keys to this city to each person so that they might look at the world differently in an engaged and responsible way. Here at ACCOR Hotels, we have had the same vision for almost 50 years, and we will make it a reality. At the heart of our hotels, we have a strong sense of responsibility towards the planet and people, and it is this vision that encourages us to go even further today. Our ambition is to drive the change towards positive hospitality wherever we are. How? Thanks to our Planet 21 program, all our stakeholders are committed to meeting our objectives for 2020. We endeavor to engage our guests in an even more sustainable hotel experience through a major innovation, such as allowing them to plant a tree with just a few clicks. We act as an inclusive company for our people, and diversity is one of our assets. It is our aim to increase the Employee Engagement Index each year. We co-innovate with our partners to open up new horizons. Every year, we will support one major innovation to develop alternative and responsible models. We work hand in hand with local communities for a positive impact. The aim behind this is to get 100% of our hotels involved in a citizen or solidarity project. For example, recycling used soap in order to redistribute them to communities who are in need of them. We act together day after day, and we pay particular attention to 2 key issues at the heart of our business. We strive for zero food waste and healthy, sustainable food. We are committed to reducing food waste by 30%. For example, we recycle the orange peels from breakfast at our hotels to make marmalade. We are moving towards carbon-neutral buildings. Between now and 2020, 100% of our renovated or new hotels will become low-carbon buildings, thanks to the installation of solar panels and the help of innovative technology. In order to better welcome the future, we must imagine a more positive hospitality together. Acting here, Planet 21.
Hope you enjoyed this short movie. So, does sustainability matter? Yes, indeed. Julius, we're all impacted by the world's change. And this affects not only businesses, but also each single household and individual human being. For instance, as a hotel company, today's consumers demand that companies serve for a greater purpose, beyond their products and services. For research is done, we know that people wouldn't care if 70% of the brands they use every day just disappeared. So brands need to be meaningful and they have to survive. It is proven that our clients pay broader attention to sustainability. Today, society does expect more sustainable experiences and responsibilities. Such responsibilities are definitely not only cut down to corporations, but also integrate our individual citizen, which will eventually lead the world to a better place. With enough this said, combined with our entire initiatives we have in place and consistently work towards the future, I would like to introduce you to our new goal, which fits enormously well to the project of ReThink Vietnam. In 2020, ACCOR has committed to act and reduce single-use plastic in our hotels worldwide. With the grave impact and awareness of plastic pollution, ACCOR has started to roll out a program in 2019 and will step by step reach towards our final aim of eliminating single-use plastic by 2022.
Plastic is everywhere in our daily lives, with disastrous impact both on Earth and in the ocean. ACCOR has been committed to a responsible attitude for 25 years and will now go further to reduce its impact on the environment.
Every year, we use and we display 200 million single-use plastic items in our restaurants, in the meeting rooms, in the spa, wellness facilities. Each of us, you and me, we actually eat every week one credit card worth of plastic. We just have to stop this.
We're focused right now on, by the end of 2022, we want to eliminate all guest-related single-use plastic product in our hotels. For each one, we've determined a plan as to whether to remove them altogether and or to find substitute product.
And this commitment will be implemented in more than 5,000 hotels in 110 countries.
We're going to be shouting that commitment with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, getting rid of plastic. It's going to be done also in parallel with the United Nations. I want to make sure that whatever engager group becomes mine and 300,000 people of ACCOR responsibilities. Our clients want it, but our employees want it even more. It's time for me to be in front of it and basically make sure that everybody will be accountable and proud of those things happening.
ACCOR will eliminate all guest-related single-use plastic items in all hotels by the end of 2022. In 2019, we completed the elimination of all plastic straws, stirrers, and cotton buds. By the end of 2020, we will eliminate all individual plastic toiletry amenities and plastic cups. By the end of 2022, we will eliminate all remaining single-use plastic items in guest rooms, restaurants, meeting and leisure areas.
So the task is huge, but how are we moving ahead from reducing single-use plastic to eliminate single-use plastic? Of course, it's shocking to see that all our hotels are using over 200 million single plastic items per year, and this has to stop, as our CEO, Mr. Bazin, said. It is essential that we need to pick the issue by its roots, take action and work towards our aims and targets, which are straightforward with the project launch in 2019. By end of 2020, we strive towards the elimination of plastic toiletry bottles, plastic cups and takeaway items for outside deliveries. By end of 2022, all remaining single-use plastic items in guest rooms, meeting areas, restaurants will be replaced with an alternative solution. What processes are involved to reduce single-use plastic items in our hotels? First step is to break down our entire hotels from operation to the back of the house to identify all items to be replaced. Second step is to evaluate what items have the highest impact and which solution or product, including alternatives, are available on the market to succeed on a sustainable, effective approach. Next step is to identify cost margin inclines, which are always visible in any project of change, followed by sampling, approval stages, including time and implementation progresses. So this short presentation brings me to my last slide. Is responsible consumption, commitment to sustainability and society important? From our side, the answer is with a huge capital yes. Seeing the progress of ACCOR has achieved within of its last 50 years, contributing and developing responsible concepts to sustainable and measurable results with an immense backup of success, every single minute is worth its time to spend and to support responsible consumption for the good of this planet. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Josi. And now it's time for action from your side. We have lined up a panel for both responsible production and responsible consumption. If you would sit in this chair, what would you ask our panel? Share your questions and remarks in the chat box. Nika, can you introduce your panel?
Welcome back to Ho Chi Minh. I'm very glad to be here again with Miss Amanda, and this time also with Mr. Chavi from MUDE. Please introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about your projects.
Yes. Okay, first of all, let me thank ReThink Plastic for this nice project and to let us participate in it. We have a textile company. We moved our assets 12 years ago to Vietnam. And and we have, as a company, Mekong & Teo, its core business is sports clothes. As well, we do uniforms for schools, we do outfit for companies, and we have one brand for ready-made sports clothes, high-end, so good quality. In 2017, we put in the market our first products made out of recycled material, and this is the reason why probably we are here today.
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I think we're ready for a sort of, let's say, short Q&A. Can I ask you, Amanda, which do you think are the potential challenges and opportunity that you are facing by implementing the beautiful model that we learned from your video here in Vietnam?
Yeah, I think at IKEA generally we like to look at challenges rather as opportunities for us to do something new or do something better. So I think one of the things that we are really seeking to understand here in Vietnam is how we can understand better the waste infrastructure. For example, our Fracta bag, which many of you may know, our iconic IKEA blue bag, is produced here in Vietnam.
Okay.
And we make that out of recycled plastic pellets. But we need to import those pellets into Vietnam because we cannot
get the proper waste segregation here. So one of the challenges, and I think great opportunities for us, but I think also for Vietnam going forward, is how we can really understand that waste infrastructure model and then how we can turn that waste into a resource here.
Great. And a question more specific also to you.
Yeah.
When we mention responsible production, that is about, well, as they say, doing more better with less. How does your company try to apply these concepts, especially here in practice in Vietnam?
Yeah. Do more with less at the end is what all the companies try to do. It's more profit at the end. But the key is how to make it in a responsible way.
Yes.
Okay. So to answer this, let me explain our product, how it works. In sports clothes, most of the sports clothes are made with polyester. There's a reason for that. Polyester has, if you make it properly, has some properties very good for sports, which is can be breathable, absorbs the moisture, can dry very fast, and it's easy to apply color, which for us is very important because we customize our product. The bad on this is that polyester needs, it's a fiber that it's made out of petrol, and this is a limited natural resource. So in our case, in 2015, we start thinking, how can we make our business more sustainable? And then we start thinking, well, if polyester is made of this PET material, which is the same raw material for the plastic that you are saying that you are using, and they can recycle to remake plastic, why we cannot use this same material to remake yarn so we can use to make garments? So this is our journey start in 2015. Until in 2017, we managed to produce this fabric, and beside of that, we've been searching for certificates to be sure that the raw material is really recycled, and so this was our approach to make it more responsible.
Great. I'm very glad to hear that, by the way. And any challenges that you face by applying this? Because it's a long process also.
Yeah. So, basically two challenges. First one is the whole process to develop these products. So first, find who provides these. We found at the beginning in Taiwan, and then importing, trying to make the fabrics, then color fastness was not good enough, and developing, and so it's a cost and time. But now things are easier, becoming easier. And the second chance is convince the customers, because, this is a new material, the recycled polyester, and as a new material, the costs are still higher than the normal polyester. Then it means that it's more expensive, yarn more expensive, fabric more expensive, garments more expensive, and not many customers are ready to spend a little bit more for a shirt made on recycle. Even properties are the same. I will say that with the pass of the time, sure, there will be more demand and the price will drop, and soon we'll have the same price for let's say traditional polyester or recycled polyester. So that was this is the second step, the difficulty, I will say. I want to thank now and recognize as being here in ISMEC, because ISMEC was the first school who believed when we present these fabrics made on recycle, they believed and they choose these fabrics to make all their uniforms. So it's good because all PE uniforms, house uniforms, everything is made out of recycle from almost 3 years ago. So I hope in the future other schools, other companies will see the potential and see the right path for them and for their children to use recycled instead of new oil fabrics.
Well, that gives me actually a fantastic, I would say, hook to responsible consumption.
Yeah.
Because of course, we do appreciate as producer how you commit responsibly to actually looking at improving resource efficiency. But I think it's time now to go back to Hanoi and to learn what responsible consumption actually means in practice. Thank you.
Here with us, Mr. Nicholas Josie from ACCOR Northern Vietnam and Ms. Nhi, Senior Sustainable Business and Communications Manager at UNILEVER Vietnam. Ms. Nhi, can you please give a short introduction?
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to join you today in the Plastic Awareness Month to share with you about UNILEVER approach to plastic waste issue. Plastic has its place, and its place is not in the environment. At UNILEVER, we want to keep this valuable material in where it should be, which is the circular economy, where it can be reused, recycled, or composted. That means taking a very fast and radical action at every point in the plastic cycle, from the design phase to the implementation phase. So we're driving our approach through ambitious commitments that will radically reshape our plastic use. We achieve this through investment and through the partnership. We have three big commitments. Is by 2020, all of our plastic packaging will be reusable, recyclable, or compostable. We will cut our use of virgin plastic in half, and we'll collect and process more than we sell. Internally, we do it through the approach of less plastic, better plastic, and no plastic. And externally, we develop the circular economy, waste segregation and source and collection system, together with education and communication campaigns. A few very highlights of UNILEVER initiative that demonstrate our principle of less, better, and no plastic. We will continue to move forward in the journey through our commitment in 2025. For the reduction of plastic, we do the SIP Eco Refill, a new home technology that allows consumers to refill and reuse their SIP spray bottle for life. And through the innovative technology, SIP Eco Refill release a super concentrated products, and where in the bottle, which will be refilled by water at home, and it saves 70% of plastic use, lower greenhouse gas emissions, and 87% less truck needed. It's a very efficient technology and value for money. We also have a few other initiatives, like we launched the new platform, a shopping platform with Loop, that provide an innovative new business model which directly deliver to our consumer, where the product, the bottle can be returned and then refill and re-deliver to our consumer. That's the partnership with Loop. And for better plastic, for now, our sunlight have 100% recyclable inclusion, PCR inclusion in the packaging. And we have many others initiatives like refuel station for Love, Beauty, and Planet, and alternative material from the sustainable source for PS toothbrush. So that's just a few initiatives from ourselves, but there are many more that you continue to develop, to implement for less, better, and no plastic. Externally, respond to the national call for drastic measure to reduce plastic waste in Vietnam. UNILEVER Vietnam took lead in building a circular economy. We have pioneered to establish a public-private collaboration with Ministry of Natural Resource and Environmental and other shared vision companies to create a national movement in circular economy for plastic waste in Vietnam. And to demonstrate the circular economy in action, just last August, we have implemented the waste segregation at source and recycle model in Hanoi capital, in HoangKiem, in the HoangKiem district and other nearby districts. And within just 1 month, we've been able to collect through our exchange gift activity of 2.5 tons of plastic and educate 37,000 residents on how to sort waste properly. So that's just, a model that, just a few words, about seven words in Hanoi, and we will take this forward to other districts and other cities in Vietnam and helping Vietnam one step closer to successful circular economy models in plastic waste. So it's just to share a few on how we approach and how we helping the country with the plastic waste issue.
Thank you, Ms. Nhi, for your short introduction. So I have a question for Unilever, you, Ms. Nhi. So reading the definition of SDG 12, responsible consumers are the ones that buy products and services with less impact in terms of resource use, environmental degradation, waste, and pollution. How are your companies helping consumers to achieve this behavior?
Through use with the Unilever is the home care and personal care product and food and refreshment manufacturer, and we having like millions of consumer in our in our everyday working. So we launched a few initiatives to actually educate consumers and Vietnamese people in generally on the sustainable sourcing, and also behavior change communication on how they can address the issue of plastic waste. We do it through the consumer campaign, the public education campaign, and also we also have direct communication where we partner with Ministry of DONRE, Ministry of Natural Resource and Environment, to do in our PPC collaboration to actually launch a communication campaign in that part of circular economy model. And we work with Urenco in Hanoi, which is the biggest waste collector in Hanoi capital, actually to do a direct communication to certain group of communities how to sort waste properly, how to actually behave for reducing of plastic. We also have the partnership with Ministry of Education to do a school program where we develop the digital curriculum together with Ministry of Education to teach on environmental friendly products, how to do a proper waste segregation. So we in the process of developing it, and hopefully we can teach from kid to mom to all other groups of citizens on addressing this issue together, because we believe that no one can do it alone. It's a global issue. It's a national issue. So we have to join hands to solve it together.
Yes, correct. Thank you. And it sounds like great initiatives all together. I also have a question for ACCOR Group Northern Vietnam. So what are the challenges you face?
Challenges. I think challenges are everywhere, but the challenges are good challenges because we're doing something for the globe, we're doing something for the population and for the good of the world. So challenges, I look at it at a positive aspect. There again, as within of the short presentation, we have challenges. Is it from sourcing material? How do we dispose our materials? How do we assure that these materials are properly disposed, etc.? Which items are the most used items, for instance, etc. So there's challenges there, but I look at it as a positive challenge, and I think ACCOR also, or not I think, I know ACCOR is looking at it as a very positive challenge. How we move on. And that's how we grow, and that's how we change, and that's how we do the good.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome back to Ho Chi Minh. I got very interesting question from the chat. So I'm very looking forward to receive the answer. Amanda, so how does IKEA view the potential loss in sales by adopting the circular principle?
Like, what if we don't do it, for example? Because as I mentioned in my talk earlier, you know, raw materials just won't be available in the future in the same way that they are today. We are consuming way beyond our planet. And if we are to continue using that model, we are going to be super expensive. And that's, at IKEA, we want to be affordable for as many people as possible. So for us, it's both the responsible thing to do as a business to make sure that we are safeguarding our business going forward. It's the right thing to do to create a positive impact for people and society and the planet. And then it also safeguards our resources for the future. And I think that if we look into all of the different models that retail IKEA is testing right now, we have in some countries, they are testing furniture take-back programs. They are already testing care and repair programs. We have had an as-is department at IKEA stores for as long as I can remember, at least. So I think that we are on the right track. I don't think we have all of the answers today, but I think it's the right thing to do.
Excellent. May I assume that IKEA actually is proposing a model where sustainability comes first and then profitability?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. They are together, and I think we have been a sustainable company for as long as we have been a company. Our founder was very cost conscious and was always making sure that we take care of the resources that we have. We have been flat packed furniture for a really long time, which reduces the wasted air that we are taking up in containers, for example. So I think for us, there's no difference between affordability, sustainability. I think they go hand in hand together.
Wonderful. Xavi, also a question for you. Can you comment on making masks? So you say that you're making, actually I can prove, you are making beautiful face masks. Which is better than single-use face mask? Yeah. So what is the comparison? Why you actually introduce this beautiful, I would say, reusable mask instead of supporting the single-use?
Well, everything started in our factory when COVID hit, and we saw our workers using masks and throwing away every day, and seeing how much plastic was going on the waste. And we said, okay, let's develop a good mask for our workers that can be breathable, can be comfortable, and so we start developing for ourselves. We use our recycled fabrics, of course. We made nice, as we used to do things, and we made 3 layers with antibacterial, a cellulose layer inside for microfiltering, and make it very comfortable. And so we take a lot of care of the size of the strings, everything to make it comfortable. So here we start, and well, somebody saw it. I want, and we start selling masks to other customers. And this is basically the reason, because we can see the figures in globally. The waste of plastics due to masks and gloves has increased so much. So, well, I think this is the answer is this one.
Fantastic, because reading, well, whatever, medical reports or health expert reports, they say, well, this cotton mask, even if they sound look beautiful, they might be less effective against the virus. What is your opinion there?
Well, first of all, we don't make medical masks. Our masks we made with decent filtering quality. And it's made for sports, for works environment, and so not for a really medical environment. Anyhow, I must say, because we've been testing a lot of masks, that many of these masks supposed to be medical, when you breathe through, cannot really breathe through. So it means that you put it on front and the air comes from everywhere. So yes, probably, sure, there are masks much better. In terms of protection, but as well how people use it, or so it's as well very important.
Actually, and we can say, I would like to applaud the beautiful rhino fish-making mask that you have been producing and put, and our kids, I must confess, they are very proud of, also because of the soft and tender touch of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I think I loved our speech, very practical, very to the ground, and giving, I'm sure, a lot of inspiration of people out there that would like to actually follow you and maybe get inspired by you by replicating your models. Thank you so much, and let's go back to Hanoi.
Welcome back here in Hanoi. We have some lovely questions from the chat, and I'm gonna ask them to you. So the first one up was a question in general to Unilever. The one portion packaging, like little shampoos or little bathing stuff, is there something that you're working on right now to change that as well?
Thank you for asking. Unilever, as our approach is to less plastic, better plastic. And from now until 2025, we will fulfill our commitment on this ambitious goal. So we have innovate a few technologies and also solutions to redesign our packaging, and also educate our consumer to make sure the next market is ready for the new packaging of Unilever. So we have innovation in place to redesign our packaging to, for example, as you see from the previous slide that I shared, we have refill station. We have, make all of our packaging recyclable and cut all the plastic in half. So it's a very firm commitment, and we are working every day to make it happen.
Beautiful. Well, and that's also taking the whole loop into account.
Yeah.
From design all the way to educating the consumer in how to use and how to recycle
and bring it back to the circular economy.
Great. Another question, which is for you, Mr. Josie. So the question came from the audience. Do you promote actually your plastic footprint?
Indeed. I think we promote it very strongly, and this goes out from one of PR actions which we do throughout of awareness in the hotel itself. So there again, is it from one of opportunities in F&B is an example, just promoting or awareing our guests that we don't use any plastic straws anymore, etc. And this is gradually just goes through the steps which we're building or which has been built up, and also the actions which we are taking throughout of the next 3 years, which will be given towards our guests on awareness points, but also brought out towards a larger scale of spectators.
Yeah, so this is not only about the promotion, but also, again, education.
Education, awareness, and it starts by the smallest thing, and it's the awareness which will bring us further. And again, it's not only for the hotel itself, no, the awareness into the population, where each single household, each single person can do something small against plastic pollution. And that's the whole aim of it.
Exactly. Well, that's something that ReThink Plastic Vietnam is all about. So I love that comment. We had one more question from the chat, which is personally my favorite, because it's about how can we engage the public more for the circular economy. Ms. Nee, would you like to answer?
Yeah, recently, there's a lot of public, awareness. It has been improved significant. However, there's still space, there's still gap there to fill. So we make sure that we have to communicate and educate to each and every citizen of Vietnam to aware of the issue and to be taking responsible for each and every action in their daily life. But moreover, we need to be consistent from the awareness to the call for action and to the actual infrastructure in place to make it happen. Because when the awareness is there, for example, in the waste segregation to collection and to recycle, when the awareness is up, then you have to have a proper system to collect, right? And you have to have a proper infrastructure in place to recycle. So it's put everything in a closer look and very comprehensive. So involve public into the action is, making them the role and be clear of the action they need to be taken and make it consistent and build a very sustainable habit. So it's, it's how we should move forward.
Okay. Really good. Mr. Yossi?
Yeah, it's all about awareness. Ms. Nishi already explained it very well. And this starts like us as a hotel. It starts with ReThink Vietnam. It starts with going out and explaining and talking about it. And awareness is necessary that we really can move on and get to the next point. But on the side, we have to be very careful. Are these cycles properly closed and do they function properly so we can actually come to a result which shows fruits? From our point of view, it's awareness, 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 and that people slowly start to change their mind. If you want to buy a plastic bottle instead, look into the fridge, wherever you're going to go and buy it, is there a glass bottle? Is there another solution, etc.? And that's small little points, each single individual contribute, which will then grow into a larger success.
Yes. So to sum it up, it's first start changing your mind and then start changing your behavior. Yeah. And then the systems that surround you should support that. And you as companies are trying to do that as well. Lovely. Well, this will end actually our Q&A session, our panel discussion. Not only here, also the one in Ho Chi Minh City. I'd like to thank all of our speakers of today. And we're going back to Ho Chi Minh City.
There is not an effective awareness raising campaign if it's not complemented by concrete action. I'm so proud with my colleagues of ReThink Plastic Vietnam to launch our first edition of the Design Factory. The Design Factory focuses on wasting, actually, in designing out our waste from the environment. We are partnering with IKEA, ACCOR Hotels Northern Vietnam, and 4 renowned universities in Ho Chi Minh City. It's a pleasure because we are going to ask students' team to actually provide concrete solution to help keeping plastic in the economy but outside the environment. Let's watch together our launching video about the Design Factory.
My name is Quang Quyên. I'm a lecturer. I am head of organic material. I'm working for Tôn Đức Thắng University. This program here, the RISK program, for right now and in the near future.
Hi everybody, my name is Huynh. I am a lecturer and researcher from University of Technology. The final of our research destination is to make our environment clean and green and to support the human life in sustainability. By this strong support, we do hope that the plastic use will be solved sooner and keep saving our environment. Thank you very much, and I believe that the program will be successful.
My name is Manuela. I'm the head of the Careers, Industry and Innovation Department at MIT Vietnam. So MIT is committed to embed industry in everything we do. And this project is an amazing opportunity to allow our students to work with a lot of interesting industry partners.
I'm Dr. Thảo Trần from the International School of Business, University of Ho Chi Minh City. I strongly believe that the ISB Plastic Challenge, especially the design factory competition, is a meaningful and rewarding initiative that converts all value as we try to educate our young generation on how to respect and preserve the natural environment.
So my name is Nina Yu. I'm the Program Manager of Fashion, Bachelor of Fashion Enterprise, our MIT University. Also, we have to consider the whole supply chain management, which is involved in the production area. Idea we want to reduce, reuse, and recycle the plastic as much as we can. So that's why we want to bring the students to join this project, and they can present, different research finding and different scenarios. So let's work together. Thank you very much.
We can all be part of the solution to the plastic waste pollution. In the past 90 minutes, we have learned that businesses play a key role and that it's all about taking that first step. It's a step that you can take by doing a plastic diet challenge, an in-company campaign, a community cleanup event, a design factory, or this, learning from each other through a webinar. Are you to take that first step? Our ISB students certainly are.
Bảo vệ môi trường, bao thế hệ cùng hoang ca. Bảo vệ môi trường, cho hạt giống được đơm hoa. Bảo vệ môi trường, tuy rằng mình cái màu da trái đất nhưng mà bức họa hành tinh này là của chúng ta chưa. Xoay, 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 là trái đất đấy, là trái đất này. Xoay, 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 là trái đất đấy, là trái đất này. Xoay, 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 là trái đất đấy, là trái đất này. Xoay, 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 là trái đất đấy, là trái đất này.
Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you to all the speakers that took out the time to share with us. But thank you very much for watching. And we hope that this is the start for you. This has been RPV from Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi, and we hope to see you very soon at one of our other events. Bye!